Welcome to Talking Trash and Tacos with Jessica and
Sarah, we're about to be famous.
maybe not.
Today's episode is electrifying. Literally, we're diving into stories of people who have died and came back to talk about their visions of the future. Kind of like spiritual downloads, if you will,
Hi.
and a whole new
Welcome
outlook
to
on life.
Talking
So buckle
Trash
up because we're
and
heading straight into
Tacos
the
with
light,
Jessica
and this time you don't need a Ouija board.
Sarah,
So my
we're
husband,
about to
love
be
it or hate it,
famous.
is a Fox
Maybe
News watcher.
not.
Hey, I just am not too into politics, as I've said before. So he was watching it though, and it was this guy. His name is Dannon Brinkley. He has a book called Saved by the Light, and he's done some interviews. I was thoroughly impressed by his interview because I want to believe in something, and I'm not sure if it's just God. I think it's more of like energy, maybe a little bit of both. What do you think, Sarah?
I don't know, but I heard some people say, like, in religion it's bad and it's in the Bible not to believe anything like that stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same point, there's unexplained things that have happened in life. I found a lot of interesting things.
For sure. And scientists say that our bodies have energy, and energy never stops. Energy transfers. Now, I don't know how scientists figured this out, but it's true per the scientists. Ron will Google this, I'm sure. So they say when the energy leaves your body, it goes somewhere. Where does it go? Right. So I think that probably has something to do with it. In his summary, he kind of stated that he was struck by lightning and he was dead for 28 minutes. He was clinically dead, and that he woke up in the morgue. And when he came back, he had stories about what it was like when he was dead. And he pretty much describes it as a panoramic view of your entire life. It's just seamless. Like there's no sense of time in this realm. And he says every person you encountered, relive it, and you get a feel of how you made them feel. And that kind of took me back a little bit. I kind of sat back and I was like, oh, that's going to be hard, but it's also really good to have self-reflection and thinking about what you've done. I've not made always the best choices in life. So we'll see how I made people feel. Probably not the best. So I'm trying to be a better person in this day and age. How about you?
A lot of people don't always make the perfect choices in life. But I did look into your guy over there that you're talking about, and I looked to see if there were any misconstrued type of information I seen on your notes that you might have found some.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find any?
So when he was talking, one said he woke up in the morgue, and something else I looked at didn't even mention that. Also, he had stated that he had several near-death experiences, and that kind of freaked me out. I'm like, so is he making it larger than it really is so he can become more popular and well-known for these things? I just don't think he had 3 near-death.
Yeah, I heard he lied. He said he was a veteran. He lied about that, being part of the military, and they said he was never in the morgue, which my question was 28 minutes. Would you really be in a morgue that fast? Like, I feel like it doesn't go that quick.
You're right. I think hospitals move that fast because they have too much going on. But you never know. Maybe it was a small hospital and the morgue was right next door to his room.
There was a few other things. I have to go on my chat GPT really quick because it's going to bug me, and I thought I was all organized. But like I told you, I did find out I'm on the spectrum for sure. And guess what? That's one sign right there. And so, misconstrued information about this guy. Wow, I really do too much on here. He said he was dead for 28 minutes, but he was actually only dead a few minutes, crediting his wife for reviving him. That is backed up by Wikipedia.
I don't really trust Wikipedia because anyone can change it at any time.
That is true. See, I didn't think about that. I still believe it, and he has a huge following.
I'm not sure how much I believe him. They did a couple charts of things in comparing these because it's kind of crazy. Not everyone experiences the same thing. They
Right.
all vary slightly. So he described going through a tunnel of light, which is common. And then upon reaching the light, he encountered spiritual beings and, it radiated pure, unconditional love, which everyone says. They're like, if your loved one crossed over and you're not in like a good state of mind or good terms with them, it
Right.
doesn't really matter. It says that they understand. But then I was like, this guy says you do this whole thing where you have to feel how you made everyone else feel. So that doesn't sound like quite pure light and love. I don't know, like a learning experience, sort of. I'm not sure. That's confusing.
Yeah. I did hear some people actually relive other people's lives and not their own somehow. I don't know. Crazy. There's a group on Facebook with over 20,000 members, and it seems like a lot of marketing going on. Like, buy my book. I did find evidence that it really does happen, I think. I really believe it.
When I
So,
watched this thing on Netflix, when we talk about the next girl, the doctor that died, well, momentarily, she does this whole group of near death experiences. They call it NDE, a group of people who have all had NDEs, and they're all so sincere when they talk about it that it seems real. But then again, maybe it was just real to them, and maybe there's really nothing there. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm not quite sure. Then this Brinkley guy also goes on to say that there's 13 beings and future visions, which he did not even mention on the Fox News strip. Like this information came from online, and they presented him with 13 visions of the future, many of which he claims came true, of course, like the fall of the Soviet Union, global political unrest, environmental changes, technology advancements, all very vague things that very well were going to happen.
They also said that they were in his book published after all of the events happened too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
Like he
but
wasn't predicting it before it happened. It already
yeah.
happened.
Yeah, so I don't know. He might be a little iffy, but there's other ones that I really don't think are. So who's this next one we're talking
So
about?
the next one is Mary Neal. She wrote the book To Heaven and Back. She's an orthopedic spine surgeon. What happened is she had drowned during a kayaking accident while in Chile. She felt her spirit leave her body. She was met with angelic beings that predicted the future to her. She said she felt so comfortable in the realm where she was that she wanted to stay. And they pretty much told her, no, your time on earth is not done. You need to go back because she had
Yeah.
more to do. And her experience confirmed her belief in divine purpose and helped her deal with, losing her son. Because ultimately, when she came back with the knowledge that her son was going to die. They didn't tell her when, just that he would be young. And so she's like, I never told anybody about it, and it ended up happening. And so she said she
Yeah.
was able to cope better with her son's death because she was warned and talked to, and she knew what it felt like to die. So it wasn't as scary for her. In the documentary that I mentioned, which also showed the near-death experience group where they got together, it says it's called Leaving Her Body, except that doesn't sound right to me. As her body stopped struggling in the water, she felt completely at peace when she left her body, and she was floating upward. She had no fear, no pain, just a deep sense of calm detachment, and she was welcomed by the spiritual beings, and she instantly recognized the faces of her friends and loved ones, and they had physical forms, but not necessarily human characteristics in the traditional sense. She says it was
Right.
more like radiant light and like the feeling of them that you knew it was them. She said they communicated telepathically, not verbally with words, and they had like a fully immersive understanding. And I think what's cool about her experience is she's definitely a doctor. Doctors believe more so in science than spirituality. She said that she began this path to heaven, and she said it was a brilliant light filled area with warmth and sun and music. She says it was vivid and alive. The colors were richer, sounds had more depth and feeling behind them. The presence was definitely love, and she said it was very tangible. She had a sense of finally being home. She said time didn't exist in the same way as it does here, that it was more eternal, present, and just deeply right, which I don't really know what that means. Do you have any thoughts on any of that?
I mean, it's a lot of the same thing everybody says. So I get a little confused when people use like the spiritual talk. But I did look into that story. I think it happens. Did you hear the one about the lady that had surgery and she recalled the entire thing? And the doctors were astonished. Like, what? She was knocked out and she remembered everything.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Right. That's why I believe there's got to be truth to it. But I also know where there's something like that happens. How many percentage of people have near like die and come back? Probably more than you think, but not all these people claiming it. So you're going to have fake people, fake psychics. I mean, fake everything. So. But that lady, to be able to describe those things, there's no way to explain it. They say lack of oxygen to the brain. I don't know, deja vu too. I feel like I barely experience it, but when I do, it scares me. It's so weird. Do you ever get it? And they try and explain it through science, and I'm like, no, there's no way my brain just thought ahead or whatever they say.
I don't know. I think sometimes we make connections that aren't there. Maybe something is very similar to something else we've done, but I don't really know. Yeah. So, what I find most intriguing about this Dr. Neal's account is that she was always skeptical about these kind of experiences before she had her own. And I feel like out of any of them, I probably lean towards her and the out of body experience of the lady on the operating table. Those two are very compelling.
Yes, they are. My mom actually sent some videos that I forwarded to you, but it was too late for you to watch them. She
Okay.
said after I was messaging her about what we're going to talk about, she started getting these videos of near death experiences. Are you going to touch on that one where the little boy actually saw the devil and God?
I don't know if I was. Feel free to tell us.
Somebody met a sibling and told his parents, and they never told her they had a kid that passed, and the little boy had a near-death experience and seen it. So in 1995, a 6-year-old boy referred to as Scott was struck by a car stepping out from an ice cream truck. The impact caused severe injuries and he was unresponsive for a period of time. During that time, Scott reported a vivid NDE, near-death experience, that began with a terrifying encounter with the devil described as a dark, menacing figure. This frightening experience transitioned into a peaceful one when he encountered God, depicted as a being of light and love. Scott's account is notable for its detailed description and combination of both distressing and comforting elements. So it had a profound impact on him, influencing his perceptions and behaviors, leading to significant psychological and spiritual changes. Yeah.
That's very interesting because a
Yep.
child doesn't know to, like, I don't know, to lie about something like that and think, oh, we're going to write a book. Let's make up this story, you know?
Right. And I told you that when I lived in my house, I had a guy, a medium, my neighbor's family member. She's like, he's psychic. I'll let him talk to you. And he talked about my grandparents. He said he was talking to them, and I really believed him. My neighbor was like, I'm going to have him come over. He's from Lambertville, and I found him. He's still a psychic now. I remember that, and it kind of freaked me out because he was just like, who's this lady with these rosy cheeks? And when he does it, he's literally talking to these
You
people.
did tell me about this. That just did it for me. I remember you saying that.
And then my grandma is Grandma Rosie. So there was things I never even knew the guy. My neighbor didn't even know me well enough to give him information, like there's no way. My grandparents have been passed away a long time. It was legit. So I did reach out to him, but I thought I remember hearing he became psychic from a car accident where he died. But I just researched him, and there was no mention. It just said since he was 9, he'd play with tarot cards and do things that basically showed he was psychic.
So the appearance of the afterlife is different for everybody. I just researched a couple people to see what the differences were between their experiences. Some people describe it as a natural, beautiful realm filled with light landscapes and spiritual beings, very peaceful and homelike. Other people experienced like a cathedral of knowledge, like tons of knowledge that they didn't have before. It's structured with 13 beings showing them future visions. There's another one that saw just vivid, like abstract realms. He said it was full of butterflies and music and non-human guides. He said it was very surreal, but yet earthy. And then another person said that initially they found themselves in a hellish realm before being rescued by the light. That's kind of lines up with what the little boy said. It was hellish, like the devil, and then all of a sudden the light comes in.
God said, no, you don't.
So why the variety? I don't understand that. But they say some researchers believe that personal or cultural backgrounds affect what your near death experience is going to be, and it shapes how the afterlife appears. The lens of your soul, if you will, is influenced by your subconscious beliefs. So your energy feels a certain way, so that's the way yours will be, which is kind of strange to me because it should all be the same.
Do you think when you have that kind of experience, it's got to change you as a person? They say like people let go of fear, especially fear of death, because it's scary to think
Mine
about.
overwhelms
Like,
me. I used to cry at nighttime and have like panic attacks because I don't
it,
want to die. Like I have kids, I have things I need to see.
or the traumatic things that I experienced with like deaths that weren't expected, like accidents, things like that. Like it freaks me out. Like you could make one wrong drive and be the wrong place at the wrong time. Shoot, you can get shot here until you know anywhere now.
I know. You just had
It's
one down the
scary.
street.
Yeah, I think it was a false alarm though. I
Well,
never
thank
heard
God.
anything. Jess.
I'm still wondering about the burning blanket on the fence.
Yeah, gosh.
I mean,
That
all
was
these
weird.
things come across like that citizens alert, and it's just crazy the things I see.
Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's BS.
So they do say that there are a lot of discrepancies. The beings and settings that people see often reflect their religious background. I just don't understand that. Like, I feel like whether you're a Christian or a Hindu, like Buddhist believer, or if you're Indian and the Indian, like native Indians who believe in like all those different gods, the sun god and the rain god. I feel like we're all still going to the same place, but I guess maybe not.
Everybody's a little different, but to me, I feel like you believe what you want to believe, be the person, be a good person. But I was talking to Sherry and she goes to church and things. It's in the Bible, these things like not necessarily near death experiences. What about these stories? They involve God and the devil. Like, I don't know. You know?
Yeah, it's so questionable. I don't quite get it. So
Here, she said,
interpretation.
I want to read this really quick and then I'll
Sure.
be done. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. It says the acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, and debauchery, adultery, and witchcraft. Those who lived like this will not inherit the kingdom of God.
I just don't believe that because they say if you ask God for forgiveness, he will forgive you.
Right. So does that mean you could go do it and then just ask for
I think
forgiveness?
you need to be sincere when you ask for forgiveness and try your best to be a good person. I don't know. That's why it sounds kind of hokey to me.
Do you know I went to CCD and I used to have to go and confess my sins to a priest?
I
It
know
was
because you
scary.
confessed the sin of stealing Lisa Longhorn's lipstick. I think
Probably
you did. I
did.
think you told me that.
I don't
So
know, because I was little then. I don't think you go. I may or may not have told all my sins, though. I mean, I did in person with God. I feel like He hears me no matter what.
I mean, they know what we do, and we just have to say, I'm sorry. That's my take on it in a very nice and meaningful way.
Always apologize. No,
Yeah, it's true. But you have to mean it, otherwise, it doesn't count.
right, and not keep repeating it.
Right. Yeah. So some people report different interpretations, and I guess it depends upon emotional state, how much guilt do you have, your sociological makeup may influence your near death experience. Others see distressing near death experiences, which people consider more of like a wake up call to become a better spiritual being.
Yes, or to handle a situation. They say a lot of them get divorced after they come back.
Really?
Yes, they say. So personality shifts really quick. We'll just go over a few. Letting go of fear. You start letting go of fear. You become more empathetic, spiritual. Sometimes you lose interest in money or statuses. Like you
Mm-hmm.
could care less about it anymore. Some of the sensory changes are heightened intuition, sensing energy or emotions of others, electrical sensitivity, lights flickering around them. All that stuff happens to me, actually. I had
I
my
was waiting
car
for you to say
windows
it.
stuck. I already told you, I know. It does, though, really. Lights blow, my car windows just stop working,
You've
and
already
then
told all of our fans about this too.
yeah, see, it's true then. You don't tell things over and over if they're lies.
That's
Anyways,
true. They say you forget what you say.
here it is. Relationship and career changes. Divorce is surprisingly common. People sometimes shift into completely new life paths, like changing their job completely. And a lot of it, they switch to being like healers or somehow like helping people.
Mm-hmm.
They also get PTSD, feel isolated because they can't find people to really understand what it is that they experienced. And that's my list.
Love it. I do wonder, like, what's the reasoning behind the divorces? Is it because you realize that you're not really in love, or because that's not what matters anymore? Is it because you're just trying to live a life full of help?
I feel like it's the same way a lot of people react. Like when you get horrible news, a lot of times you're like, all right, I'm going to do whatever I want at this point. I think people that have that experience are like, at that point, I know what can happen. Like they get more confidence in a way, not necessarily confidence, but like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah. Because they know the final outcome. So they just feel
Right. My thing is, who makes the decision on you coming back? Like, you hear that some people say, no, it's not your time, go back. But, like, is it already known that you're going to have this? Like, is your life already planned out? They say, based on these genetic testings, they can tell you what's going to happen to you to an extent. So, can they tell us how we're going to die?
I don't know about that. I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to be able to tell us how we're going to die. I think there's too many variables. But I think they could say, like, if an accident doesn't happen, you'll probably live to be this old. That would make sense by genetic markers and
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of discrepancies that arise on how the consciousness functions outside of the brain. A lot of people say that they have intense life reviews where you're feeling everyone's emotions and kind of going over actions. And the way you get the information, they say it's almost like you're reviewing a lifetime of information in just minutes. So other people say time doesn't exist at all and that everything happens just all at once. So that's kind of confusing.
You told me that before. That freaks me out. So you're saying all of our life is just 1 second and we're just thinking it's all this time?
It feels
It's
like, yeah, like long, 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 long. But it's really
that's
just
crazy.
a blink of an eye, maybe.
Most of my weeks have been flying by, but it's a true statement. The older you get, the faster time flies. That is so true.
It's because you feel the impact of everything more, and your life is precious. It's not forever when you're young. It feels like forever.
And a lot of people that have these experiences, I mean, to an extent, you can't be a clairvoyant and go do that and make money and not eventually be a fraud. I mean, there's got to be a time where people are going to catch on, like Sylvia Brown or whatever. So they do say, like, you get clairresistance, like basically all those psychic powers, but also healing abilities.
Yeah.
I tell Brian I can heal people. I'll hold my guinea pig and I'll be like, I'm healing her. Because I heard you have the ability to heal yourself all with the way you think. So maybe something like that, when you have your near death, maybe it all has to do with what you're thinking at the moment you're about to.
That could be. 'Cause sometimes I feel like
maybe
the
you're like,
light that
no, I'm
they
not
see
ready.
is not really light. I feel like it's your energy leaving your body and you just feel like you're seeing light, but you're not seeing anything. So I feel like maybe the detailed review might be a little weird. I don't know about that. But some people seem to get detailed feedback on their earthly lives that tell people what to focus more on. So maybe you're supposed to be doing a certain thing. So they end up saying, hey, you need to be more of a unifier. You need to bring unity. You're going to be some
Leave
kind
your
of
husband.
higher truth. Yeah, maybe.
Leave your husband.
I don't.
Oh no,
And I also
I
think
think
it's
our
weird
thing's
about.
fine.
Okay. So a bit that I just read, which is interesting, it said the people that have the near-death experiences that come into the dark hell-like place, what you have to do is yell out for God and say, God, please come and free me from this. And that's when the light comes in, but you have to ask for it. And that's a little crazy. So keep that in the back of your head. If you're in hell.
Do you think that there's people that have near-death experiences with the devil and
That
not
want to stay
God?
in
Like
hell?
where it's all negative? I didn't research that, but I would imagine there might be something out there. But I mean, where maybe I don't know, somehow he was going to go to hell, and during the transition, he asked for forgiveness. So they either shot him to heaven or back to life. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be talking about it if we all knew how it went. That's so crazy.
Right.
I have no idea. It says that possible discrepancies can be due to how close to death they were and how long they've experienced life. It says, despite the differences, nearly all experiences return. The people return changed. So they're more spiritual, they're less afraid of death, more loving and service oriented. You want to just help all the time. And the discrepancies often point to a multifaceted afterlife. It's not a one size fits all type of thing, and it's possibly layered and personalized. Is what researchers think.
So
Layered as in what? Like there's different realms. So depending on which realm you're in, you get a different experience.
like, is it always positive change that happens?
They didn't mention anything about negative change. They just said that some people, it's not very common or well known, but there's a lot of people that also have distressing near-death experiences. I'd be screaming that from the rooftops. I almost died and a dragon tried to bite my head off. I'd be telling everybody what happened.
What happens if you did have it and you're freaked out to have it happen? Kind of like when you have your first kid, you're good until you know you're about to do it again and you're like, what was I thinking?
I'm so scared. Yeah.
But I don't
I
know.
don't know. I do think it's absolutely nuts. So I think with this episode, we should try to figure out how to add this near-death experience comparison chart. And it kind of just goes across like people's what caused their near-death experiences, what their initial experience was, were there spiritual beings, was it heavenly, the life review, the religious figures, and the core message, and then what they return to this world with, which I think is kind of neat. I like to see it like in this form. It's cool to see a side by side.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't
You're
like
fine.
my view.
Like you've done
There
it
we
for this whole time now, which is 40 minutes.
Well, I didn't pay attention to my view, so you should have said, like, Sarah, fix
okay.
your...
I have printers back here. I need to move them.
Don't judge me, guys. I fixed it. Now it looks so much cuter. Redo. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're fine.
There's
Don't
my
worry about it.
autism.
Yeah. Oh, please tell people about this autism test.
So, can I give you the test while we're recording?
Sure.
First, I'll tell you, there's a test. I was talking to my chat GPT and I was just wondering. So, it's been a big topic lately. I've seen things on the news and I learned it on my show that I make you watch that they always did autism testing on males. They never did it for females. And there's actually two totally different tests done based on male and female.
Did they come up with this test in like the fees or something? Because what makes them think that only men should be tested and not women? Like we just
Let me
they're
see.
dismissing us.
So the reason I even reached out to them first, yeah, and I think it will get into the difference because I gave Brian the female test before I knew it was not for everybody, and he was answering yes. I was like, "What? Why are you answering yes?" And I was confused, but then that's when it said this is the test for women. So what it says, so I have an issue with picking my finger cuticles till they hurt all day long, at least 15 hours, sometimes till my fingers hurt. I also can't shut off my thoughts, which this is a lot of people. I know for sure I have ADHD, but now I wonder if it's something a little different. I also worry about upsetting things. Like I'm always worried if I miss a call, if I'm late, I'm so worried what people will say or think. I worry and freak out. And and think my animals are sick or dying all the time when they're not.
This is true.
And I have a hard time concentrating.
Mhm.
And either way, here's the test. So
I did.
here's the tricky part. Autism, ADHD, anxiety, and OCD all overlap or get misdiagnosed. So
Because
they
a
also
lot of the
said,
traits are very similar. I think it's very hard to distinguish between like all of them or just a few of them. You know, they're all kind of
yeah.
interwoven.
And you might say yes to all these questions, but you might not. See, so they say here, this is a test geared towards adult women who are curious if they might be on the autistic spectrum, especially those who flew under the radar because they were high functioning, people pleasing, and just plain misunderstood. So I answered yes or no. That's what you're going to do.
Okay.
Do you feel exhausted after social events, even ones you enjoy? That is a yes for you, I bet.
Yeah, it is. I get stressed
I
at all of
can't
them.
I can't see you right now, by the way. I don't know how to make it like both, so but I feel you. I can see what you look like without seeing you. Do you often replay conversations in your head and worry you said something wrong?
Constantly, because everyone tells me I say wrong things all the time.
And by the way, this is different. It's sectioned into sections, and right now we're in the social and communication.
Okay.
My gosh, you are autistic, Jessica. Do you avoid phone calls or small tasks when you can? Do you ignore me all the time?
I don't try to ignore you. I just get so overwhelmed. And I was like, until I'm ready to sort through it, I just ignore it.
Avoid phone calls. So half the world might say yes to this. I don't know. Do you prefer deep conversation or casual chit chat?
A deep conversation.
I said the same thing. I forget if it was a right answer, though.
Okay.
Oh, no, it says not or, over deep conversations. Okay, so that's a yes. Just kidding. I was like, wait, why did they
Okay,
ask an
so I
either or?
prefer deep conversation over chit chat.
Over,
Definitely. I think
yeah,
chit chat is so meaningless, even though we do a lot of it. But I feel like this is a thing.
yeah. Sometimes you have to like think about your answer too, because you think it's one way and you're like, wait a minute, now that I think about it. So I trick questions, but good thing you can't fail 'em. Do you feel like you're performing when you socialize?
Yes.
Me too. So that is the first section, which is social and communication. Now, ChatGPT did say he's not a psychiatrist, so just don't like freak out, okay?
Okay.
Do changes, all right, this is routines and sensory. Do changes in routine or plans make you anxious or frustrated?
No,
So that's good.
I'm
Mine
pretty
would be
easygoing. I don't get agitated by that.
my plans make me anxious. Like if somebody wants to add a showing or anything, I've got to plan things like a day, 2 days in
Well,
advance.
that's when you're just like, no, no, it's too late. So, I mean, I have boundaries. So that's why I can say that.
So I know for a fact this is one of mine because I'm super weird about things, but it's, are you super sensitive to sounds, lights, smells, or textures?
I would have to say, I hate when people chew with their mouths open, but I don't know if that's what that's considered. Is it? Like when my
Right.
cats lick themselves, I want to like literally like stand up and like flip the cat across the room, but I don't.
Yeah. Well, I guess it could be, yeah. Like
I
mine
don't
is
know.
like if I hear the littlest noise, I'll be like, Brian, pause the TV right now.
I
What
want to
is
know
that?
what's happening. Yeah, I can't not know.
But it'll be like a train. And I do it like nonstop. Like I shouldn't though. Smells. I am all about smells. I used to
I
say I could smell a book and tell you who wrote it.
You do say that a lot. But yeah, I am sensitive to smells like constantly. God, I used to gag on people at the bank
So
because
like
they'd smell bad.
they say like things like tags in clothes, food, noises, foods, noises. Now like the sound of macaroni stirring, I love it. If it's the like wet macaroni and cheese,
I mean,
like Velveeta,
as
the
long as it's mac
sound.
and cheese and not body parts going and stuff, then okay.
So that's why I think I really, really do have this. So either way, I used to think about like licking the wall in the basement, like concrete, like weird. Think about it, not do it. I wouldn't do it, but
No.
weird, like what it would be like to bite I don't know. Anyway, I'm really trying to convince myself that it's true because I really think it is. And that would make sense for why I'm hard to handle and deal with sometimes. So then I get a out because, hey,
Because you have
you
a
can't.
problem.
You
You're on the
can't be mad
spectrum.
I didn't listen to our 20-minute conversation.
That's going to be your excuse. I'm autistic to everything. No, you're not allowed to do that. That's not a thing.
So you're a yes. You've only had one no so far. Do you find comfort in repeating certain tasks or rituals? Like, do you have to take the same route, same foods, daily habits?
I do pretty much eat all of one thing before I move on to the next thing on my plate. It's hard for me to break that habit. I also chew my nails so much to where I have like no nails, and they have to be like, well, you know how I am. You see me do it all
Yeah, I
the
used
time.
to do it. I don't bite my nails now. I pick my cuticles
Well,
horribly.
I do that now with my fake nails. And like Ron goes, "Are your nails bloody?" I don't know if you guys can see this, but they are bloody because I've been picking
Wait, I gotta
around.
go back. I can't see you because I'm on the
But you don't
question.
really need to see. I was just
Yeah, I'll
showing
mess it
everybody
up.
else. Okay, keep
I'll
going. But
I'll
yes,
look
the
when
answer is yes.
we get off. Okay, me too. Like I think about the same routes. Mine more or less is the same daily habit. I have to get up. I have to do the fish first. Then I have to do the guinea pig, and then I have to do the cats. Like
Yeah,
it
like
has.
pee,
But
feed the cats, and then go to the bathroom again to like shower or get ready. And there's a whole thing.
but sometimes I can switch it up too. So I don't know. Like, but I do like
But you have to
keeping a
talk
routine.
yourself into it. You have to like tell yourself why you're doing that. That's what I do.
Yeah. Do you ever get stuck in a loop of thoughts or feelings and can't shift out of it?
Yes, I think I even told you this. I was like, when I think about embarrassing things that I've done in the past, I can't quit thinking about it. And it makes me so mad. And I was like, how do you push those thoughts out? And you're like, I just stop it. I was like, oh, okay.
I am good with that. See, that's one thing, but it doesn't say you can't sleep, so I can fall asleep like nothing.
I can too.
That's good.
I like sleep.
Yeah, I love it too. But then I probably could sleep 6 hours. If I sleep more, I usually am more tired actually.
Yeah, I sleep at least 8, and then I love naps on weekends.
So we are done with routines and sensory,
Okay.
and you have one no, 8 yeses. Now we're on to focus, interest, and overwhelm. All right. Do you have intense interests or hobbies you can get lost in for hours?
I mean, what do you think? I don't know. I think so.
First off, I do that with this podcast.
Mhm.
But I do it with everything actually. But I get lost and then I get sidetracked a lot.
Yeah, like I pick all these different things that I have to do. Like I have the card shop, and then I got to make things with the laser, and I want to make. I mean, I just always want to do something.
So here's the next one. Do you sometimes hyper focus on something, then suddenly lose interest completely?
Yes.
Brian told, I know, right? Brian's like, dude, you used to go get into coloring and then you'd color for like a month and all of a sudden one day you never colored again. I'm like, oh, well, like I do weird stuff like that, but yeah, that was
I do
his,
too.
that was his example of why my answer was yes.
That's cute.
Do you find multitasking or focusing on boring tasks difficult, like house chores or paperwork?
Extremely, and that's why my house is a little messy.
I've been slacking.
It's
Because I'm
hard.
a firm believer of a clean house is a wasted life. So, and Brian actually is great. He does keep the house clean. So
Yeah,
I get lucky
Ron
there.
wishes I was cleaner. I mean, I don't think I'm filthy. I'm just like a piler. Like, okay, I don't want to match the fucking socks ever. So I'll have like a pile of socks on the couch until I get them all done, or I don't know. I just do weird things.
Do you know one of my mom's sisters would wash her sheets, iron her husband's boxers and everything every day. She would wash and iron her sheets to her bed.
Is it the one I know? Well, I know them all, but is it the one I know?
Yeah,
Know?
no, close,
Okay.
but not that one.
Okay. That's the funny. I know it's
Actually,
not Donna.
probably, I'll be honest, they probably all do it.
I know.
They
They're all a
all
bunch
do
of
it.
goofballs. And I think it's because their mom was like such a good, like homemaker that they all became like good homemakers.
They like always clean. Like I got in trouble when I was younger because I would make my bed and I tried to make my mom proud and it wouldn't be nice enough. So
Oh
I
my
never,
God.
do you remember she'd clean my drawers, my closets,
Yes. I was always
serve
jealous because no one ever cleaned anything for me and I was always in trouble.
spoiled brat, serve me dinner. Sometimes I'd be like, make me cereal. She'd come serve it downstairs while my fat butt's laying on the floor watching TV. Gotta be close, so you had to get behind the TV to flick the AB channel. We used to fight, me and Brad.
You
Like
guys had that for a long time, even when we were in like high school to
I
junior
didn't
high.
realize a lot of people didn't have cable, but we used to fight over who was gonna get up, get their lazy butt up and flip the channel.
That is
Goodness. All right.
so funny. I just remember feeling like you were neglected because your house was always so clean. I felt like you guys didn't have anything to do.
I wasn't allowed to play with my toys. No, I'm just kidding. I
I was
was.
no, that's the way I felt when I went over there. I would just sit there like, what are we going to do?
Now, granted, I got to go away and I got to go to my friends' houses whose parents didn't care much what we did, but that's my mom's fault. She did not want her house messy. My friends were never allowed to really stay.
I know I
Well,
would hate
plus
it.
we didn't want to. Like, you'd be like, oh my gosh, can't have a dish.
But
Like, I put a spoon in your sink. Your mom's never going to let me over again.
I just cannot even believe just how clean your house was all the time. It's so true. It was.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a good trait you have, though. I mean, my mom wasn't dirty, but she always wasn't obsessive. Like when we were younger, it was dirty. When we got older, she was like weird. So I don't know, but I
If
think
I
I'm somewhere
was
in between. Like I'm not gross, I'm not a hoarder, but I'm also not like overly OCD.
If I was still practicing, I mean, I believe in God. I talk to God. We're good friends. But if I was still Catholic, I would have gave up. Wait, what? See, I forgot what we were
Lent.
talking about.
Well,
Lent.
you went on to
I
something
would have.
new.
Wait, what were we talking about before? Just a second ago. I literally forgot. That's horrible.
Well, we were doing that test.
No, just a second ago. Literally, like, what? We were talking about something.
About your aunts and everybody and how they're like such
No,
cleaners.
just literally right a second ago. Can you remember?
No, you're gonna have to
I was
watch the
going to tell
video and
a
remind yourself.
story.
I
Can I
guess you don't want
rewind
to tell
it?
it.
Oh my
No.
gosh, it was so good.
Ugh.
I forget. I
Well,
can't
think
believe.
about it. Keep doing the test. Let's finish this out, and then we'll go back to your story when you
Oh
remember.
yeah, I forgot we were doing this.
I just told you we were doing it.
Oh my gosh. Now look at I got 100 tabs open. All right, here we go. Guys, I can't believe I completely forgot what it was. That happens a lot. Scary. I hope it's one of these questions. I forgot if it is though. That would make me feel a little better. Do you mask or pretend to be okay? Oh, we're in emotions and masking now. Do you mask or pretend to be okay when you're not? Just to avoid. Like if you're
Oh
mad,
no.
does Ron
Everyone
know about
knows.
it?
Everybody knows. But yet,
So
sometimes I mask it depending on my relationship with people. Like, I don't think the people at work have to know when I'm mad at them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to show that.
the people you love are those we take it out on the most. That's what they're there
Right. So I
for.
do
Our bad
mask my
days.
feelings depending on who I'm talking to.
I said no to this, but Brian was like, yes, you do. Do you cry or melt down easily when overwhelmed, even if it's in private?
I say yes, and that's why I'm on meds.
Does it? Do you still melt down or does it like take it all away?
No, I don't melt down at all unless I'm really, really sad or really, really hurt.
I remember being on Zoloft and like after like 6 weeks, if I ever, like I was horrible with never taking it consistent because it won't work if you don't.
Right.
And then when I did, I remember always being like, why am I so happy? Like, why am I not freaked out or stressed? It really helped me through some tough times when I was younger.
Same. And when I was
Zoloft.
younger, I was even worse. Like I was so angry all the time and I couldn't control my emotions at all. I would lash
Yeah,
out.
I'm honestly thinking I need to get back on it. Plus counseling, I think it really helps. I'm
I
a
love counseling if
believer.
you can afford it. It's expensive. It's not always like
Yeah.
I
So
don't
is
know.
a
It's not worth it
dentist.
sometimes. Yeah, the
Do you get free? Do you get free dental, or do you
I
get
can get free
friend?
cleanings
Do you
and
get
probably
friend
discounted.
discounts?
Do I get friends? No, I don't. I can barely get like
My one friend
marriage
gets me.
discount.
My one friend gets to sign people up and get like 50% off pet care. That is an amazing benefit for your workers. Tell
That's
me that's
true.
not a good benefit.
No, that is true. If I was a
Unless
hoarder of
they're like,
animals, I would work there.
unless it changed how they treated the animal. But all right, we're almost done. Do you feel like your brain is always on, racing thoughts, no off switch?
If I'm not doing something, yes. That's why I constantly am like watching TV. I'm on my phone. I'm doing like 4 things at once because otherwise I can't stop thinking.
Yes, I agree. Have you ever felt like an outsider or like you just didn't quite get how others interact so easily? Yeah. See, I had
I
some
just think
no's.
people are different, so I just think it's okay.
I think I said yes to that one, so I do get awkward. I'm
I
sure
feel
you
it. I don't
ha-
know.
have you noticed me in public? Like I'm not shy, but I get weird sometimes. Well, I'm
No,
always weird, but
I feel like am I that way? Because I feel like I am. I feel like I get really weirded out and then in my head, and I don't know, I get scared.
so you are potentially on the spectrum. So you answered what, 15 out of 17? I think you only had 2, maybe 3 no's in there. And that's a strong pattern of traits that align with what's often called autism in women. So it says, which tends to look way different than what people expect because they are more internalized, emotional, and masked. So basically, the test that you give a guy, I'll just speed through them. Like, do you avoid eye contact or finding it uncomfortable during conversations? So that's one of the male questions. So immediately I'm reading Brian the women's. He's saying yes to everything, but that doesn't matter because that's for more the female side.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that they're looking into it more for people from women's perspective. But I've been hearing a lot about it, and that's why I'm glad we talked about it.
That is interesting because you're right. Like the sex of someone probably does make a big difference in their personalities, and different
Yeah.
types of symptoms. I don't know.
Like if you notice, it didn't ask you if you like can't eye contact. I love eye contact. I stare people right in their eyes. I learned that in interview school. So social and communication for men. Do you avoid eye contact or find it uncomfortable during conversations? And answer this for Ron. I said no for Brian. So
I'm saying no for Ron.
okay, well, you better say no for all of them and be like, what? Now you're telling me I'm autistic? That would be funny. Either way.
You're so mad at me.
Do you often feel awkward in social situations or not sure how to keep conversations going?
I'd say
That's,
the first half for Ron, for sure.
yeah, but he's just shy. So I think that it's like these are trick questions in
Yeah.
some circumstances. And keep conversations going. Brian is definitely a no to that. Do you prefer being alone over hanging out with groups, even with friends? No,
No.
Ron is too, he's a definite no. Brian's a no. Do
Yeah.
you feel like you say the wrong thing a lot or that people misunderstand you?
No for Ron.
And I'm a major yes, so maybe I have a little man in me because I know every time I say stuff, people don't understand what I'm saying.
Well, I know that's the same for me though, but what would it be for Brian? It would be a no for Brian too.
No, Brian's probably no straight across the board.
Yeah.
Jerk. Hold on, let me take a sip. I should get like something for this.
Yeah, that could be a sponsor. We should make a
Just
list of
not
what we think our
sued.
sponsor should be, and then someday we can reach out.
Well, Monster, I spend a lot of money on you, so if you could like hook a sister up. Oh, by the way,
I
real
like
quick,
great value water from Walmart.
I'm gonna get sidetracked for a second because I'll forget this if I don't, and I have the list of what I'm doing in front of me. You can pay cheaply to buy fake subscribers to your YouTube. Now, the thing is, you can't get paid for them, but they'll help people see that you're famous. And then you'll get more real followers. I'm not going to do that, but I thought it was a horrible thing that this person
That happens
did.
all the time. Yeah. It's the same thing with advertising. Like, it's like once you get in the algorithm of things,
It's
no,
illegal, isn't it? Well, then maybe we should look into some cheap fake
it's just like
followers.
shady. Not
Unless we
illegal.
can get these guys to help us out. We need you to
Like love and
subscribe
share.
to our YouTube specifically. I am so close. Well, I mean, one of my videos is at like 3,300 views. Now, that's pretty good.
It
So,
is.
either way, after I put you and Ron's interview out and then do this little short stuff, I'm a busy woman. We're going to blow it up, girl.
Okay.
Anyway, back to this test.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you say the wrong thing a lot? Do you struggle reading body language, sarcasm, or unspoken rules? Definite no for Brian.
Yeah, no for her. Well, actually, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like sometimes I just feel like he's so easygoing. I just don't think he knows. But I don't know.
Brian will know I'm up to something before I even give a clue. Like he knows. So that's definite no for him. Do you get thrown off? Yeah, he'll be like, "Why'd you look at me that way? What's on my face?" I'm like, "What?" Either way, routine and sensory stuff. This is where we're at for these men. Check it out. See if you got some autism. All right. Do you get thrown off or irritated when plans change last minute?
Ron does. Yes.
See,
Big
he
time.
seems like he'd run a tight schedule. He does. Uh-oh. He's getting up there with the yeses. Nope. Just,
Maybe we should be the next people on love on the autism spectrum or whatever. We should just take tests all the time and we're going to be everything.
my gosh. So again, with the men, the sounds, textures, lights, smells, do they bother him? Like, can
Yeah.
he mix his food and stuff?
No, Ron's pretty picky
Oh.
with, yeah, things.
Good thing we're not live. He'd shut this down. He'd be like, I got my work. They could hear
The
this.
anxiety when I interviewed him the other day, I thought he was going to have a fucking heart attack. Last night he told his whole family, like, but no one's going to see it. I said, Ron, they're going to see it eventually. I'm going to put it out there.
Yes, and I'm going to make sure it's out there. Next question. Do you prefer routines or see some of these are the same. The routine and sensory is probably the most.
Yeah, Ron's totally routine.
So yeah, routine, certain way. Brian is so random. No. He'll be like, I'm going to Salinos. You want to go? I'm going to Detroit. Yeah, you guys are random though. That's different
we are
though.
together, but yeah. But only
But you probably can't. Does he do it same day or does it have to be like we have to do it and think ahead like 2 days?
It has to be on his terms. And he'll always ask me like ahead of time, like, what are we going to do this weekend? What are we going to do for dinner on Thursday? What are we going to, and I'm like, stop it.
That's not fair. It's always on Brian's time too. Mm-hmm. I get to pick TV shows sometimes, but then he gets mad because it takes me like 10 tries to find a good one, 5 seconds in. This is stupid. Yeah, until you get a good show, it's devastating when you run out.
Yeah, that's why I'm always on
routine.
people's Facebooks to hear like what they're watching because I run out of things.
I applied for Netflix, The Circle and the Mole.
You should release your audition tapes.
No, I deleted it. Well, I have it on my computer, but no.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
That's hilarious.
No, but I did not even take time. Well, I had my hair in a pony, but I literally wanted them to see me rough. So maybe I'll do it again next time. Better.
I think we should throw it out there. I think that'd be fun.
Does Ron fidget, tap, rock, chew things?
Yes, he shakes his leg 24/7 and he'll be shaking and everything's like, and I'm like,
I do that sometimes.
Your leg.
See, Brian's a yes for that too. He is a tapper. Oh no. He's in trouble. Focus, interest, and attention. Do you get intensely focused on topics or hobbies and have a hard time switching gears?
Yeah.
I do to that. I think everybody does. Do you talk a lot about your interests, sometimes not realizing the person isn't interested in what you're saying?
No, of course not. No, I really don't think Ron does that, and I don't do that either.
No. But I mean, I do that.
Maybe I do. I don't know.
I freaking do that. I do it to you all the time. And I know people lost interest, but I can't stop. I have to
When we
finish.
first started talking again after we hadn't seen each other in years, the first time I saw you, all you talked about was real estate. And I'm like, oh my God, I have nothing to talk about real estate.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
don't.
okay. Well, it works
Now
out
I
now.
don't talk about it at all. Well, I talk about. I mean, some stuff, but now you're in it, so
Yeah.
kind of. So,
It's more relevant now for me,
eh.
but
And
it's
I was
always
gonna say,
relevant for you. So, who cares?
but I do that. I talk, and I know. My old boss. Every time I'd be in trouble, my thing was people start talking, and I always try and finish what they're gonna say, and I'll try like 3 times, and eventually they're like, "No, just let me finish." But see, I
I
got
do that too.
issues.
Yeah.
I do. I gotta stop. And he would always have to tell me, stop talking.
Well, I
So,
think we
yeah.
should stop with the men stuff. I think we get the hint though. But yeah,
No, that's it. That was the end.
great.
Well,
So
yeah.
where do people go to find that?
I just asked Chat
Chat
GPT to give
GPT.
me these tests. So, yeah.
Because I've been always wanting to try an intelligence test. Remember, we'd take those in school and they would tell you your intelligence level. But I was like, you probably have to pay for something like that. Plus, I don't know if I want to know how smart I'm not, but we'll see.
I'm scared. If it's not multiple
If you
choice, if it's
find it,
multiple choice, I might be okay.
yeah, it
That's
is kind of
funny.
scary. I think we should ask our listeners if they'd be interested in hearing about that guy you used to work for that made you go to church and then about the church. So, are people ever interested in talking about
I'm
what happened
scared.
at, just name the church?
Cornerstone Church.
Cornerstone. Is anyone interested in chit chatting about Cornerstone Church
Is
in
it true?
Toledo?
Is it not true? Are
Yeah,
there
I'm just
people?
curious if anyone cares anymore. Like, do people care about the pastors and their indiscretions? I don't know. So we'll see. It was just a thought. Did you remember what you were
You're
going to say?
making me nervous.
I know. Like, you're starting in on the voices like that. I remember
Scared. See, I told you.
the
Do
Grace.
you be honest? Be honest, guys. Everybody listening. Do I? Who says? Do I? I do.
I
What do
think
you
you do.
think?
Yeah, I
I
think
think
you
I do
do.
too.
I think I have some tendencies. I'm not really sure what.
I think you do too. I mean, the test just proved you do. We can help people. We're on the spectrum ourselves.
Oh, no. Yeah, we're self-diagnosed on the spectrum.
Eh,
Maybe more people want to talk about how they could be. I'm not sure if it's offensive or not.
Well, I'm not. I'm
We'll
not
have
trying
to
to
ask
sound rude.
ChatGPT.
I do. I got to keep on there and like what people think because I feel like a lot of people would say they
I just
agree.
don't think people would understand. I just don't think everyone understands us. And then also, I don't know if I understand them, so it doesn't matter. Is it relevant? What do you want to do next?
We could talk about the tariffs. I did hear a story. One of my investors runs a furniture store, and yesterday was the
Furniture
first.
pallets?
No, he said that the tariffs are 125%. So furniture is going
Going,
to have to go way up.
and it's already
He
expensive if
said
you go to like Furniture Row or something.
what cost 1,000 is now 2,000. So it's starting to hit, and it's just the beginning of the effects. So let's hope
I'm
that's
still
a
going to try to
lie.
purchase my couches at Big Lots, even though they're all closed now, because I don't want to pay Furniture Row prices. Well, did you see that article I sent you today about the guy that was found in Phoenix, Arizona from Toledo, Ohio, and they identified him?
Did, but I hate news breaks, so I couldn't read it. So tell us.
So this guy was found dead on a sidewalk with no ID in Phoenix, Arizona. And I really don't know when it was because I didn't quite read the story fully, but I'm assuming it's like the 80s. Let's say in the 80s he was found on a sidewalk. Well, they traced ancestry back to some relatives here, and he was actually from the Toledo area and had some kind of psychological issues such as schizophrenia or something, and said he had to jump in the Ohio River to cleanse his soul, and no one ever saw him again. So they didn't know what happened to him. But then after they traced this back, they realized it was the man from Toledo, Ohio that was found dead on the sidewalk in Phoenix, Arizona.
What was his final death again?
I didn't read exactly what it said. It just said he was found dead on a sidewalk.
But not murdered, though. It was obviously like could have been anything.
Yeah, I don't know. And he could have been murdered. I really don't know. I didn't read it. I don't have great information, but I do think it's amazing that they are able to find these like John Does and like put their family at peace on where they're at because they can connect it back to your family members now. I think that is amazing.
I think so too. Hopefully my family didn't do nothing bad because I did my DNA test. They could get
Me
caught.
too. We're all getting
Watch
caught.
out, Dad. No, I'm
Shit
just
together. Watch out, Dad. Oh my God. I do
I was
think
just
that
kidding.
because they were around in like the what I would call the Mad Men era. Like, you know, like the men just pretty much did whatever they wanted. The housewives just had to endure it unless you were like crazy housewife. And then, you know, then you were probably crazy. But I'm just saying they probably did a bunch of things. And I think it's cool that we can now bring more light to like all of the darkness. So,
Yes.
all right.
Awesome.
Well, have a
So
great night,
please,
Sarah.
yeah, you too. And we love you guys. Please subscribe to our YouTube. It said not to beg, but I don't listen. So please.
You ain't too proud to beg? Isn't there something?
I ain't too proud to beg. You got to get somewhere. And we're pretty entertaining, I think. We did
I laugh when
serious
I
stuff.
listen to myself. I mean, yeah, I think they're interesting topics. I think if it interests us, it has to interest somebody. One of those 5 people that liked our videos. Thanks.
I love controlling. Actually, go look. That's not true. We have thousands of likes.
I just
We
like
had-
to make fun of it.
Here, I'm going to show, and I'm almost done, I promise. I know Ron's probably in the doorway. Where is he?
Yeah, it's
Look
6:18.
We are up to 29 subscribers, but let's go to a good page real quick. Here, let's look. Sort by
I appreciate
most
those
viewed.
29 people. Thank you.
Wait, that's not working. Okay. See, nothing I do works. But look, 85 watch time hours. See that? 85. But guess what?
What?
In April, 47.1 those hours just from April 1st till today. And I'm about to blow it up in there.
You always tell me shit's about to blow up. I'm still waiting. But I love
hope I
your
can
optimism.
post that. Yes. All right, guys.
All right. Good night, Sarah.
Bye.
Talk to you. Oh, do you have plans this weekend?
We might go to the casino. We're going to a game. I hope it's not snowing again.